Now, the Federal Aviation Administration is reporting even more incidents involving unruly passengers, more than 4,600 cases this year, and that number is expected to go up as we get closer to the holiday season. Sara Nelson is the president of the Association of Flight Attendants and is joining us now with insight on what's happening at airports and how crews are working to keep you and your family safe. Welcome to BNC, Sara, and I appreciate what you and all your colleagues are doing to keep us folks safe in the air. What is your understanding of why we've been seeing so many more of these incidents of unruly, not just rude, but violent passengers?
Well, first of all, let's put this into context. The number of events that you're talking about, if we stay on this trajectory, we're going to have more in 2021 than we've seen in the entire history of aviation. So this is starting to be, even though it's a small number of passengers compared to all of those who are flying, this is becoming pervasive in our work environment. We are at minimum staffing, so as flight attendants are going to work with full aircraft and more people traveling who just don't know how aviation works or have been away from it for a while or flying for the first time. We have a lot of people who are looking for what they're supposed to be doing, what the rules are, and we've had conflicting information throughout this entire pandemic. So many of these incidents are related to mask compliance, but it's also just basic safety compliance. And our members also report out that over 2/3 of the event are alcohol related too. The airports have started to serve to-go alcohol and given the impression that you can bring alcohol right up to the gate, drink as much as possible, and even bring it on board, which is against federal regulations. So these are some of the things that are going on. It's really that inconsistent information, people believing we're in conflict with each other, and people being told that the safety regulations that we have in airports and on the planes are about taking away your freedoms rather than keeping you safe.
I appreciate you being very generous by saying that it's about different information, but you did also mention that it's about people believing we are in conflict with each other. How do flight attendants train to handle that cultural dynamic?
Well, we are at the tip of the sphere of anything social or political going on in the country, and let me also just recognize that flight attendants have said that 61% of these incidents have had also racial, gender, or homophobic slurs involved in the incidents. So this is about tensions happening everywhere around the country, and flight attendants are trained in de-escalation. And we are typically very skilled in de-escalating, and many events don't make it onto the evening news because of it. But with so few of us and our aircraft full, one of the tactics in de-escalation is to get there as soon as possible, to try to start to de-escalate the process. We also, if the first flight attendant on the scene is the one to give the instructions to the passenger who is combative, it's better if you bring someone else in. So when you're at minimum staffing, that's already a problem. And identifying these issues is also a problem. So what we would say to travelers who are flying is, if you see something start to heat up a little bit, let us know as soon as possible. Don't jump in yourself, because we don't want you to accidentally create more conflict on board, but let us know as soon as possible so we can try to address that issue. And if we can get to it before the plane door closes, even better.
I had a flight I took recently, the pilot mentioned, let's not try to make it onto YouTube today. Is that something that affects the crew and how they approach the job? Is social media, unruly passengers?
You know, everyone brings out a camera today, and unfortunately this has become so pervasive that pilots and crew members and even people in the gate are making announcements like this. Because they've had to deal with it. It's very likely they've had to deal with it. 85% of our members said they had experienced an event in the first 6 months of this year. And to put that in perspective, I'm a 25-year flight attendant. I can tell you 3 times in my career when I've had to deal with anything on board, and only 1 time that was even very serious at all. So this is typically a one-off, a bad day when you go to work, but now it is becoming a regular occurrence. And so crews are saying up front what they need from people to try to comply and try to get ahead of those issues because it has become so pervasive.
Well, and Sara, as you mentioned, this is all a part of trying to make the flying experience safe, and flight attendants, pilots, they're all there to help us all out. So Sara, thank you, and thank you to your membership for taking the necessary steps to keep us all safe. Appreciate you.
Thank you.